Hello, this is Joel, the Minecraft teacher, and today I'm going to show you some of the things that my kids worked on over the past few months in two of my after-school classes. So these were not my regular classroom classes, but they were made up of a lot of the same kids, mostly second graders, although there were a few fourth graders mixed in. So this is mostly 7 and 8-year-olds working, and this was an after-school class, so it was a little more relaxed and a little more free form, and we would meet for 90 minutes once a week, and I would usually have, some fun activities or some building ideas for the kids to do, but mostly they'd be on their own to create their own structure. So I thought today we'd take a little tour around and see what the kids came up with. The only thing that was in the world when they started was this lighthouse, and you may recognize this lighthouse if you've played my tutorial world before or seen some of the other videos. I actually copied and pasted it into the world just to sort of serve as a central point or a beacon for the kids as they started exploring. But everything else that you see, the kids created. Usually they did most of their own work. They mined all of their own resources and did all their own exploring, crafted their own tools. Although every now and then for a special building project, I would help them along. Like for example, this building over here is sort of a welcome center, and I did give them some chests filled with some materials, which you can see over there that they started with. So we can take a look around. So this is a couple of the girls in the class made a bakery, which you can see here. I think they kind of lost interest in it before they ever actually populated it or filled it with different things, but they did create the structure. They did get off baking bread, as you can see. They did figure out farming, and we'll take a look at their farming in a few minutes, and they really enjoyed that aspect of the game. In fact, they got so wrapped up in farming that I think they kind of forgot to come back and decorate their bakery. That's fine. And over here is a store that some of the boys were starting to make, and I think they were using it sort of as a communal area too. Yeah, so lots of materials they would collect and share with each other here. So let's take a look around now. In order to speed this along, JSAT store. That's the initials of the 4 boys that started the store. In order to kind of speed this along, I'm going to be using a flight mod, which lets me fly with these feathers here. And oh, wait a minute. You know what? I think I need to give myself a fly permit. Oh, whoops. Got to cheat and give myself a diamond here. Now, I don't usually play with this particular mod on the server with the kids. This is just for me to kind of help speed things along. So let's look and see what else we did here. These giant red and blue areas were part of a game that the kids were playing. It was sort of a challenge to see who could build a structure that would get their team up to these glass platforms up here. And actually, I'm planning to have a separate video about how that went, so I'm not going to spend too much time looking at that. You can see over here that 2 of our boys built a great minecart system. And why don't we actually take a ride? Let's go up here. I guess we start up here. You know what? I'm going to have trouble getting on. Let's find... here's some powered rails. Alright, so let's see if I can do this. I've never been very good at this. Some people are really good at pushing a minecart and hopping in, but I always have trouble for some reason. Let's see how it goes. There we go. Alright, so, they figured out powered rails. I did help them along with some iron just to get the project moving, and some gold for all these powered rails, but, they did a lot of the work themselves. They still crafted all of the materials themselves. Now we're coming up here to this big old wall, and when I initially started them in this world, I actually made them stay inside the wall. They were not allowed to go outside, just to sort of focus them in one area and get their projects really going. But then as as the class progressed, I opened up the world more and more. And so now we've got this. Here, let me hop out. Now we have this big fancy castle. Now the kids didn't create this castle. This is another one that in one of our last classes I added to give them something to explore and something to build off of, and frankly just to give them some inspiration about what people can do with Minecraft. So and then this castle is also populated with many items and other fun treasures that the kids enjoyed playing with. But let's fly out of here, and let's see if we can find some more work that the kids have done. So this was the class that I was doing on Tuesday afternoons, and they did a lot of cool stuff. But they mostly, it was interesting. This group was a very social group, so they mostly kind of worked together and stuck together and went on little adventures with each other. And they didn't go all out with too many crazy building projects. We'll find a lot of little houses here and there that the kids would sort of set up as they went around, but not too many elaborate structures. In a few minutes, we're going to go check out my Wednesday class where they have done a little more. I do want to show you so this was the girls' farming area outside the bakery. Now, there's no crops growing at the moment because they knew it was the last class. The girls knew it was the last day of school, so they harvested all of their crops and made all of that bread that you saw earlier in the bakery, and didn't bother replanting it because they knew they wouldn't be back. But it was neat. They actually it took them a long time to figure out some of the intricacies of farming. You have to be very careful about where you place the crops and irrigating them and not trampling on them. And it was actually funny. The boys would every now and then come over and see what the girls were up to, and unknowingly start trampling the crops, and the girls would get upset. But it was actually good. This was they had to kind of work out their differences and come to an arrangement. And the girls were actually relatively calm about it and were able to explain to the boys how it worked. And the boys sort of gave the girls their distance. Now I know I'm going to forget exactly where it is. I know one of the a group of boys had a very elaborate mining system, which now I'm forgetting where the entrance is. Is it this over here? But they worked their way all the way down into the bedrock, and we're finding diamonds and lots of redstone. Maybe this is it here. Nope, this isn't it. Well, okay, I don't want to get too caught up searching around in vain here. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm using the multiverse plugin. So I'm actually going to teleport over to my Wednesday After School's world and show you what they have going on here. So now,